In the heart of the Caribbean, nestled within the breathtaking beauty of Dominica's Kalinago territory, something extraordinary is taking place. The Caribbean Youth Environment Network Dominica chapter convenes a pivotal climate justice conference, echoing the concerns and aspirations of Dominica's youth in combating climate change.
I'm Christiana Paul, co-founder and director of We Planet Inc. Being selected as a speaker for the Climate Justice Conference, one of my main expectations is to be able to share my experience that I've gained through my work at We Planet through developing innovative incentive-based solutions to increase eco-consciousness among citizens. Another expectation I have is to be able to meet and speak with like-minded individuals in the space of climate justice and climate action and advocacy. So I hope that together we can share experiences and maybe even come up with new solutions.
My name is Janelle Brisbane. I am a wildlife ecologist and the founder of Wild Dominique. Wild Dominique is a conservation nonprofit organization here in Dominica formed by a group of Dominicans with a variety of environmental backgrounds, from agriculture to ecology to sustainable tourism. And we came together to essentially tackle conservation challenges from the ground up and reclaim ownership of the management of our natural resources through in-country expertise, regional assistance, and partnering with our communities.
Young minds from across the island gather, united by a shared vision for environmental stewardship and climate justice.
As it pertains to climate justice and including young people and indigenous people as part of that conversation and space, I think it's one that's of great importance in the sense that climate justice deals with policies, it deals with how do we actually get people to do what we need to do to help protect the environment and live sustainably. So including youth and indigenous people as part of that conversation speaks about the sustainability we'll be able to create, because we cannot talk about policies and actions and not include the youth, right? So, and then also I think of the fact that we'll be able to contribute maybe new ideas through, while we may be young, I really do think that we have innovative ideas, we are authentic, we see things from a different perspective sometimes, and that too can contribute to the sort of initiatives we implement in the climate justice space. And then of course holding our leaders accountable. I think the best person to hold a leader accountable is a young person. So that's how I see the role of young people and indigenous people in this climate justice space.
My thoughts on being invited to this conference, my main thought was that I really appreciated where the conference was held and the theme around the conference. I think the way the world is moving and the way certain groups of people are impacted by climate change, I think it was very timely that, you know, this conference focused on youth, it focused on indigenous people, and it was held within our Kalinago territory. My expectation for the conference was to meet a group of like-minded individuals, but also to hear of the experiences and the challenges of people on the ground from around the island when it pertains to climate justice and environmental justice, but most importantly, to hear of their difference in approach to solutions to these challenges, and to hopefully be able to piece this information together to better strategize on how we can go about managing our natural resources in Dominica.
Throughout the event, impactful discussions and presentations unfold, addressing pressing issues like climate adaptation, sustainable development, and the preservation of indigenous knowledge.
I will be honest, I did not have many expectations. As I said, my main expectation was to be able to speak with like-minded young people on the topic of climate justice and youth involvement. So in that regard, my expectation was definitely met. I was able to speak alongside our other amazing panelists, which you will hear from. And I think the expectation of being able to speak with the young people like myself in that space, what I found most interesting about it was hearing their work that they have done in their spaces.
When it comes to youth engagement and youth involvement, I always tell people there's going to come a day in our life when we are no longer considered youth. And at that point in our life, what are we going to represent? What is our leadership going to look like? It's not just a matter of involving youth for the sake of involving youth, but it's a matter of engaging youth with the realization that one day we are going to take the positions of leadership. One day we are going to be the ones writing the policies and implementing these plans. And so it's very important to engage youth, to encourage them to better manage their resources, but also to give them the experience and the expertise necessary to make these informed decisions and to be the leaders of today and tomorrow. Not just about tomorrow, but also enlisting them in today's leadership and allowing them to make that positive impact.
We all come from different groups and backgrounds, and I had the background of forming a non-profit organization called We Planet Inc., where we developed innovative incentive-based solutions to motivate people to live an eco-friendly lifestyle. And we did so through the use of an app, right? And then so we had educators, we had experts, I would say. You know, it's always good to be around people that know more than you, I believe. So in that sense, the expectation was definitely met, and I was happy that I was able to share my experience working on the ground here in Dominica with climate action and advocacy.
Panel discussions catalyze dynamic conversations, empowering the youth to champion change, leveraging their collective voice for a sustainable future.
So the responsibility of tackling climate justice, environmental justice, or implementing the solutions for this, I feel falls on too few people within our Dominican landscape. And like we have been talking about, this is everyone's problem and everyone's responsibility. And it's a matter of figuring out how to build up our capacity so that we can have sufficient resources, whether that's human or financial resources, to be able to achieve the goals and to achieve sustainability within our island.
In terms of my expectations for the participants, firstly, of the conference, the participants that we had would definitely engage. So I would like to see them engage post-conference within the groups that they are part of, whether it be at school, whether it be at work, whether it be with their youth-led organization. I would love to see them take on roles and projects that deal specifically with challenging certain climate policies, enforcing certain climate policies, as well as possibly introducing new climate policies and continuing that conversation. And then in terms of us as panelists and what I expect from us, we shared a lot of ideas, we shared a lot of experiences. So I'm hoping that we can come together, pull in resources, and take some tangible, realistic, practical actions here in Dominica.
Amidst the natural splendor of the Kalinago territory, delegates explore ways to harmonize development with nature, paying homage to the island's rich cultural heritage.
There are a number of global policies that conventions that Dominica has signed on to that can help guide us in this direction. But I think it goes back to capacity and education. You know, it's our responsibility as Dominicans to educate ourselves on the requirements of these conventions, why these conventions are in place in the first place, why this policy exists, what are the gaps, what are the highlights, and to use this knowledge to then implement and advocate for change and actually create the platform for action to occur. This conference brought together a group of very like-minded and very passionate Dominicans, and it created an atmosphere to foster a very stimulating conversation. And I think if time permitted, that conversation or conversations could have gone on for a whole day or two, or maybe even 3. But definitely I think the expectations were met, because I didn't expect anything to get solved that day, and I don't think anybody should go in with that expectation. But it did definitely add fuel to our passions and to a movement of advocating for climate justice and to actually be able to see actions implemented towards our goals of climate justice.
As the conference culminates, the youth depart emboldened and equipped to spearhead climate action, leaving an impactful mark on the journey towards a greener, more resilient Dominica. Our task is to build a new social contract for the 21st century. It is time for all of us, young and old, to rise together and take action.
Hi there, I'm Christiana Paul, co-founder and director of We Planet Inc., and we support the Caribbean Youth Environment Network Dominica chapter.
My name is Janelle Brisbane, founder of Wild Dominique, and we as an organization support the Dominica chapter of the Caribbean Youth Environment Network.
To connect with CYEN Dominica and keep up to date with their activities, follow them on Facebook at Caribbean Youth Environment Network Dominica chapter, as well as on Instagram and Twitter.